Go ahead.
Okay. So I think it's time Lethbridge gets a third bridge from the west side to the main part of the city. The amount of accidents that have been happening on the Whoop Up Bridge and the Highway 3 bridge are proof that we need a third one. By creating a third bridge, there will be less congestion on the bridges, which would allow for safer travel to and from the west side. Yeah, the bridge will cost a lot of money, but by creating this third bridge, it will be a lot more beneficial in the long run.
Lethbridge is a decent-sized city with an average population of 89,000, and some would consider Lethbridge a fairly small city. We currently have 2 bridges in the city, Whoop Up being one of the main ones, one of the only bridges to the west side. There's speculation going around that Lethbridge is needing a third bridge, but to me, it's just a big waste of time and money. If people would just drive smartly and cautiously, reducing accidents, we wouldn't need another bridge. And anyway, we shouldn't be worrying about stopping distraction. We should be worrying about stopping distraction of drivers instead of worrying about building a third bridge.
Okay. Thanks, Houston. Back to you guys for 4 points.
So my first one is that Lethbridge is a growing city, and a bridge that would be on the south side of the city, probably like Best Buy, going to the west side would be a very beneficial thing to have. And again, having a third bridge would reduce collisions because those people who live on, I guess, the south side of the west side would have an easier way to get to and from their home and workplace. So that would reduce collisions on the Whoop Up and the Highway 3 bridge as well.
It'll move traffic faster during rush hour, and it will save up time and free up traffic, especially when it gets busy.
Is that all 4 points?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, it's beneficial for homeowners and businesses on that side, and it's convenient for the drivers.
I just don't think this is a need for it necessarily. Traffic and accidents happen everywhere, and that's something that we would expect in the city driving. And a third bridge probably would go to help to limit some of these things, but there's no guarantee. And with how much it would cost, I just don't think it's worth it to incorporate a bridge just on the hopes that the bridge would make life a little bit easier for the Lethbridge residents.
If we stop distracted driving, we wouldn't need another bridge in the first place. Yes, it'll help traffic, but is that really the main reason, is traffic? Because, yes, adding a third bridge may help, but it's still not going to reduce, there's still going to be accidents. And again, the cost, like, is it a big need? Should we be worrying about costing, like, should we be worrying about the cost on, like, stopping distracted driving instead of a third bridge? To me, it's just a waste of time.
And accidents, they're going to happen either way in winter time. At some point there's going to be bad road conditions, and with that other bridge, there'll be bad conditions on there too, accidents, traffic, it's going to continue to happen. It's something you can't eliminate. And with Lethbridge being under 100,000 people, as far as I've seen it so far, I don't find the traffic or that anything like too substantial compared to a lot of other places. I think that there's just other things you can worry about.
There we go. So 4 points on each side are done. Now we have.
I'll start off with like commenting on your size of the city and how it's not big enough for a third bridge. I think like as of right now that might be true, but if we build the third bridge now, well, people don't really need it. It's better to build early than when suddenly we have a huge population and then even more people will be stuck going on Whoop Up or Highway 3. And that would increase collisions even more than we have now, which wouldn't be a beneficial thing.
How do you even know though that this third bridge would reduce collisions and traffic? Like there's no guarantee. We'd have to put a lot of time and money into just the hopes.
Well, it would reduce collisions because all the people who would live on like the south of the west side would have a faster way to get to their homes. Instead of taking Whoop Up and going all the way down University Drive, they have a bridge that would access right into their neck of the west side. So it would cut down on the amount of people needing Whoop Up.
same thing, bad road conditions and things like that will always happen, and there's still gonna be accidents. I find that it's something that we don't like to control. There's really no way to really make it that big a difference, I find. Like, it's just gonna happen.
The easiest way, I would say, to reduce collisions and that kind of stuff when you talk about road conditions in the winter, we can build this third bridge like the high level bridge is built, where we go just straight across the coulees, we don't go down and across the river, we can just go straight across. And that way it's a level surface the whole way of the river bottom, and that way it's a lot easier for people to control how they drive on the icy roads.
That'll take away icy roads, but how do you take into a factor of distracted driving? How is that gonna stop that still?
I don't know if this is a debate about distracted driving, but, like, obviously, some people who drive on Loop Up, yeah, they're distracted when they drive, but that doesn't take away from the fact that there's more people driving on Loop Up, going to and from places than are necessary.
And it's beneficial for homeowners and businesses on that side, so it'll be helpful.
I think distracted driving actually does take like a large part here.
So if not,
Just don't.
yeah, then if it's not about distracted driving, it's also not about icy roads either.
Because people, I find a large number of accidents I've had friends that are caused by just simply distracted driving. If we can all obey the limits, sure, we might take more time to get from place to place, but if you can all just obey the simple limits, then we're not gonna have these problems on the roads, and then therefore we really need this bridge.
Again, I can go back to a point, but it's just repeating myself, but when the city gets bigger, we're gonna need a third bridge. And we can't afford to wait until the city's bigger, because then, like, by the time that we actually need it, it will be too late.
You're saying that we can't necessarily afford to wait, but can we also necessarily afford to build this bridge, or to take the cost into consideration? I'm sure taxpayers would have to pay more, and maybe not everyone in Lethbridge will want this bridge, and then the people that don't want it are gonna have to pay for it. But
See, right now, I would say there may be some people who say they wouldn't want it, but down the road, I think it's gonna be a very beneficial thing for everyone in the city, because the west side will continue to grow, and I'd say the west side makes up a large portion of Lethbridge now, and all those people would all be in favor of that third bridge.
So how are you thinking that it's growing this much? I didn't figure that it grown substantially, like you had numbers to back up saying that how much it's growing, that we can need that bridge?
I mean, all cities grow, and Lethbridge is continuing to grow just like any other city.
But is it growing large enough to make us pay all this extra money and make the jobs go towards building the bridge? Where there's other things that maybe we can put more money towards?
Like, they've added a little opener to the Loop Up Bridge, and we haven't even used it yet. So they can have the aspect of wasting money, so maybe they haven't changed, maybe they'll waste money building on a bridge again.
And you said like, can we afford it, and like, do we have, like, you're talking about jobs, and I think that's a beneficial thing for the city of Lethbridge. Because by building this bridge, we open up more job opportunities for people in Lethbridge and the Lethbridge area.
In conclusion, I think Lethbridge getting a third bridge would be beneficial for the city. Lethbridge is a growing city, and by having a third bridge, the city can develop further in both residential and businesses. The third bridge could be an economical growth. The more people, the more taxes they pay, the more money that flows through the community, benefiting businesses and residents. It would open up other areas to expand and bring people into or out to their jobs. It would make commutes quicker and less stressful. It would make the population increase by bringing in more businesses and people.
All in all, I think adding an additional bridge is simply just not worth it. It would take a lot of work and a lot of money to add a new bridge to the city. It'd make the taxpayers pay a lot of money that they might not have to build a new bridge. And it would take a long time to complete. I feel that it's just not worth it. Life and driving isn't really too difficult around here, and I think that the Lethbridge residents can manage and just be happy with the way things are. And if we were to add a new bridge, there would not even be a guarantee that the bridge would make a substantial amount of difference to our everyday lives. With that being said, it's just too much of a risk just to justify building. If we could all obey the simple traffic laws, then we wouldn't be having this problem.
Great work, you guys.